Abbas Jockeys, hope you're all keeping well. Yeah, I'm down the plot today, and as you can see, I'm with my mate. Yeah, Mr. Robin, or Mrs. Robin is about, because as you're probably aware, I have two. And I've normally got two following me around all the time. I can never tell which one's the male and which one's the female. I'm pretty sure they're a breeding pair, or I hope they're a breeding pair, because that would be really cool. But I've normally always got two Robins around me when I'm down the plot, which is quite unusual, because I thought they were supposed to be territorial. So maybe you can put in the comments below if I'm right or wrong about that. Do you have more than one Robin in your garden? Because I do. Yes, so this is somewhat of a continuation from the last video. It's pruning my apple trees down the allotment, and once again I essentially try and prune them into a goblet shape, so they look like a goblet. And that's a goblet that you drink wine out of, not a goblin, little creature that lives under a bridge. Or is that a troll? Yeah, trolls live under a bridge, don't they? Where do goblins live? Mordor. There we go. So we want goblets, not goblins. Yeah, basically what you want to do on your apple trees, or on most fruit trees, is you want to cut out any branches that are crossing, that could rub together, and that could basically get damaged in the wind. And what you'll see me do from time to time is I will give the tree a gentle shake. And when you shake it, to simulate the wind as it were, you can see where the branches are obviously crossing over and where they're going to rub against each other, and that's liable to cause disease and stuff over time. So you want to cut those out, and you'll see there the goblet shape. You see the V's, looks like a series of like wine glasses all stacked up, and then hopefully that will mean that it gets really good ventilation from the air. You have more space for more fruit, and more air ventilation means less chance of disease and mold. So far, goblet shaped fruit trees is working wonders for me, and I'll continue to do it, although I do one of the days, or one of the times, I want to have a go at doing espaliers and planting a fruit tree hedge, and maybe putting fruit trees in on an angle to try something different. I'll get there eventually, but right now we're going to stick with goblet shaped apple trees. I also just want to point out, make sure you prune your fruit trees to suit you. Don't always just copy what everyone else is doing. For example, this tree on the corner of my plot, it's on a corner where two paths meet. So although I am going for a goblet shape, I'm also being very aware of what I'm going to be doing over the next 12 months walking around this tree. So for instance, any branches that look like they might grow across the path or grow in my way, or then they get damaged, you know, as I walk into them, break off, I'm also pruning those out too, because I want this tree to work on my allotment, and I imagine you would want your tree to work in your garden. So if you've got a tree and you're trying to grow it in a certain shape, but you find there's a branch that's going to be crossing your path, it's going to be poking you in the eye, or you just don't want it there, take it off. It's your tree, it's in your garden, it's got to work for you. Make sure that tree works for you. There's nothing worse than copying somebody else's pruning techniques, and then a few weeks later when the thing's in full grow and you can't prune it, you realise there's a branch going straight across your path that's going to poke you in the eye every time you walk down there to feed your chickens or do whatever you're going to do. So yeah, make sure you prune it to suit your garden. And don't be afraid to return to a tree and take more off it if you think it needs it. Now I've just been doing the one tree, and I've looked back at this from a different angle and realised I've missed a few branches. So it's always a good idea to have a look at your apple tree, or look at your fruit trees all the way around. Walk around them and have a look. Look at them from different angles, and you'll see where branches have crossed over, or you'll see where it might be looking a little bit cluttered in one area compared to another. So I'll often just return to a tree. I might even look at these again in a couple of days and go, do you know what, I've missed a branch there. And again, getting rid of any branches that I think are going to be in the way. I don't want branches across the path where they could get damaged by me walking past and breaking off, because then the tree is liable to get disease, because there's nothing worse than a broken branch that then gets infected, and before you know it, you've lost a beautiful tree that's been providing you with loads of fruit for the last few years. So a little bit of prep now does the world of good. as you can see here, look, once I give it a wiggle, I can see there's a couple of branches there that are just touching, and as they grow, they're going to rub against each other, so they need to come out. You'll always miss the odd one. You know, again, repeating myself, have a 360 tour around your tree, look at it over the course of a couple of days, and you'll spot the branches that need to go. There, much better. And as you can see, it doesn't take that long, does it? It's a nice, relaxing job, to be fair. It's something I really get into. It's not just fruit trees, as in apples. Grapevines as well this time of year. It's good to get them under control. I started mine, if you remember, back in November, but I got a few bits and pieces that I missed, so I'm going to crack on with that now. It's just about basically making it manageable in this greenhouse. The last 12 months, well, the last 2 years really, this grapevine has gone absolutely nuts to the point where it started to grow through the glass, and I don't mind that, to be fair. I quite like it going nuts. It was quite funky to look at, but I really do need to rein it in now, and I need to kind of get control of it so I have much better harvests, and hopefully the vine will last longer and live longer because of it, because it's, you know, it's more cared for than going absolutely wild. Although part of me would like to put in a grapevine somewhere on my plot and just let it go nuts. You know, see just how many grapes can I grow. Because this one really seems to want to romp away, and I do sometimes feel a bit sad that I have to rein it in a bit, but you never know. Maybe that's a plan for next year. See if I can find a good grapevine in the next few months, plant it up, and you know, we'll see how big a vine we can grow, see how many grapes we can get. You never know, I might have my own vintage Chateau Neuf de Pape in a few years. Well, that's it. The grapevine is pruned and tied back. The greenhouse is now accessible again, and it's been reined in a bit. I've managed to remove some of the vines from pushing up the glass, which is good. And now I'm going to sit back, chill out with a beer, have a little fire where I'm burning a bit of Jerusalem artichoke stalks and a bit of grapevine stalks. And what I'm going to do is then sprinkle the potash over some raised beds in the garden, because yeah, it does actually work really well, actually, potash. It's good for so many different things. We'll have to make a video about it. But yeah, that's the Jerusalem artichokes done as well. They've been mulched, ready for next year.